Welcome to the My Creative Days podcast, where we will talk about all things DIY, home decor, decorating tips, and creating a beautiful home on a budget. I am hoping our time together will spark a creative idea, help you plan your next DIY, or inspire you to finally tackle that project you keep putting off. Grab your favorite cup of motivation and let's chat. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. If you loved our episode, the smart, budget-friendly upgrades to attract quality renters for your investment property, this one's for you. So I do know that a lot of you liked that episode, and it sparked some great conversations and follow-up questions, specifically around what renters really notice when they walk into a property and what doesn't matter as much as we think it does. So today I'm sharing some honest feedback we've received from renters, both the comments we've heard during showings and the things they've mentioned after move-in. So this episode is all about helping you focus your time, money, and energy on the things and the updates that actually matter to quality tenants. And that's when Matt and I are doing these properties. It's always like, are we flipping this? Are we renting this? Especially now when we have 3 that we got within 9 months. I did a whole podcast about how that happened as well. So you can check that out. But renting is great, but we want to make sure that we're getting quality renters. And so, some people, family members, friends that will come through our projects, our houses, before we even start working on them, they're like, oh, just leave it as it is and just rent it as it is. If you do that, I can guarantee you're not getting quality renters. Obviously, depending on how the house is, but when we're buying these properties, they need work. They need updating, right? Because we're able to get them at a great price. And so we know we're going to have to put some money into them. And it is different from renting to flipping, but a lot of people will say, okay, are you flipping this after we get ours done? Because they think we do too much. But these are some things that we actually know that do make a difference, in finding the quality renters that you really want. First impressions matter more than you think, but not how you think. So renters often comment on smell, cleanliness, and lighting before they say anything about your finishes. And that's even on the outside as well, okay? So a clean space with bright, warm lighting gives the impression of a well cared for property, even if it's basic, right? Like it doesn't have to be super fancy. It can be basic, but those things, that's what quality renters are looking for. So a simple upgrade tip for that, fresh paint. Always, always, always fresh paint. In a light and bright color. Use a semi-gloss. If you're renting, they're easier to clean. It's easier to clean that paint. Cleaned carpets. If you have carpets, I could do a whole episode about carpets and hardwood floors. So you don't, and this depends on if you accept pets, you don't, that's a whole nother story again, but you don't want it smelling like you've had 6 dogs living in that house or 5 cats or whatever. Clean the place, fresh paint, and make sure if you have carpets, you have got them professionally cleaned, especially if there are pets involved. So flooring. So these our last one that we got done, the flooring that we put in, which can I just do a shout out, and I will try and remember to put the link to the blog post for the flooring we just put in our last property. I love that flooring, and that is the number one thing that they mentioned after they toured the house. The people that we have in there, they absolutely loved the flooring. So in that flooring, it's so easy to install. I'm not going to go on a side tangent, but check out the blog post that we'll link in the show notes to read all about it. That kind of stuff is better than kitchen hardware, if that makes sense, right? Like they're not looking at what kind of, handles you have on the cabinets. The flooring makes the biggest difference. They'll notice the flooring right away because it's a surface they interact with the most, right? And if it's really, this stuff too is cost effective. It's just so good. This flooring is so good. It's called Select Surfaces. So if you're looking for some good flooring, you can get it right at Sam's Club. But look at the blog post. You can see the color and everything that we chose for this house. So it's a worthwhile investment. It's durable, neutral tone flooring that's easy to clean and easy to maintain. So when we got that house, this last one that we did, all of the flooring, it was all ripped out, right? It was all ripped out in the entire house, which is great for us because we didn't have to do it and we didn't have to pay to haul it away. So we were just going back and forth, and we were planning on renting it as long as we could have found, a really good renter. And we did that. But we were just talking about, if this is a rental, carpets hold so much odor, and you can vacuum them, but they just don't clean like an LVP or, hardwood floors, if you've got those in your house that you're fixing up. But so that's why we went with that flooring, just because it's easy to clean and it's easy to maintain. You're renting, right? So, if people spill stuff on the carpet, are they going to clean it like you would in your house? Right? And then it gets locked in that carpet. And we did not want to be pulling out carpet and replacing carpet with every new tenant in there. And so this way, it's just so much better. We choose this when we can, every time. Let's take a quick pause. If you flip furniture, you need to know about one of my favorite tools, the ServPrep 3x4 sander. It hooks right up to your shop vac. Hello, less dust. And with the foam pads, it sands edges and curves like a dream. Seriously, it's changed the way I work on every furniture flip. It is worth every penny. You can save with my code, MyCreativeDays10. I'll link it in the show notes, and yep, it's an affiliate link, which means I earn a small commission, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. Now let's get back to the episode. So kitchens and bathrooms still reign supreme, right? If you need new caulk in the bathrooms, updated faucets, a working and clean vent fan. In kitchens, even small things like a newer sink, good lighting, a clean stove makes a big difference. Same with your fridge. Have your renters, when they are moving out, they are in charge of cleaning out the fridge. That doesn't mean removing all the contents. That means scrubbing down the fridge. Have them, clean the stove, those kinds of things. What they don't comment on, brand name appliances or designer tile, ever. They just want things to work and they want it to look nice. Really, that's what they're looking for. Neutral paint colors are still king, right? They love, quality renters love a fresh neutral palette because it feels clean and it gives them flexibility. Like they know no matter what their style is, it's going to work. It's going to fit. So I have grown up in a family that has had rental properties for years. It is something my grandpa did for years. He had apartments. He had houses. Now granted, where he was buying houses and things, I would never. But again, we're in a much different time. But I think the whole people renting, they're just different. They're just different than it used to be. That's what we're finding. But yet it's still the same, if that makes sense. But they want their house. They want to be proud of where they live, right? So we're talking about getting quality renters. The person that we bought 2 of our houses from, that we are actually working on now, and we bought 2 from her years ago that we actually flipped. She's a landlord that's kind of like, slap some paint up, doesn't matter what color it is, doesn't matter what and this works okay. So, we'll just rent it the way it is. And then she's getting those kinds of renters. And we're not doing that. We really want to make the place look amazing so that when we are, your rent can be higher, and then you are getting those qualified renters in your place. Rarely have we had renters ask for bold or character walls, right? They want blank slates. And for us, that's just the way it's going to be. We're not going to go in and paint a wall red or black or anything. Don't waste your time agonizing over trendy colors. Don't waste your time. This is like side note in your home, in your whatever. Stay away from the trendiness. Always go for timeless and fresh. Trends come and go. Stop chasing them. Okay, curb appeal counts, but only in a few key ways. So they do notice if the lawn is overgrown or if there's peeling paint on the porch. They do notice those things. They don't care about expensive landscaping. They do not care. Keep it tidy. This is a budget tip. Keep it tidy, weed-free, and maybe add a pop of color with a plant or a wreath on the door, when they're coming to see it. Don't have it be overgrown. Don't have, obviously don't have garbage or things, laying around. You want the spaces, the yard, the outside clear. You want it mowed if it's in the, summer, spring, whatever. You want it shoveled, if it's in the winter and you get snow. Like, keep it simple. We're not getting fancy here, right? What renters don't notice, and you can stop stressing over these things. Expensive light fixtures. As long as they work and they aren't extremely, extremely dated, or like the house we're working in right now, we have this wagon wheel light that's in the entry. Like, that's coming out. We're adding a ceiling fan and a nice light. The wagon wheel from the 60s, that's a real particular client or renter that would really, really want that. We will be selling that, but they don't need expensive light fixtures. They're not going to be wowed by that. Do your lights work? Does your ceiling fan work? Are they not super dated? Like, then they're okay with it. Premium countertops, unless it's a laminate from 1984, they're fine. Even that, if it's in good condition and it's a neutral color and not something crazy and not chipping. So the last house we just got done, she said, "Oh, the countertops are fine," when she was showing us the house. The whole side, there were chunks out of the countertops, like the fronts of them, the sides of them. They were not fine, but she would have rented it like that. So, as long as that's not happening, you don't need, granite and all of that. You don't need that. Just make sure they're in good condition. Brand name of appliances, they do not care. Crown molding or updated trim, they do not care. Whether your cabinet hinges are soft close, they do not care. Stop stressing over these things. What surprises and delights quality renters? Like, this is your bonus points. A clean welcome note or small move-in gift. When they moved in, I put a basket together for them, just of some fun stuff, and they really appreciated that. And I appreciate having quality renters. So I want to put that basket together. I want to go over the top a little bit, over deliver. And so giving them a little welcome gift, their first day, I just think it doesn't have to cost that much, but it just says a little something extra. A plunger already in the bathroom. So I did add some cleaning supplies inside the basket. Like, I love that you guys are here, and I love that you're going to take care of this house that we just finished and made amazing for you. Here's some cleaning supplies so that you are, go ahead and clean the place. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about these new renters at all. We kind of know them. But it's just those kinds of touches that you can just go a little bit above. That says a lot. Clear move-in instructions, labeled keys, an organized handoff process. However that looks for you, because it's going to look different for everybody. But just those little things, they make a big, big difference. At the end of the day, renters want a clean, safe, well-maintained home where things work and the space feels comfortable. It's easy to get caught up in Pinterest-worthy upgrades and, all those fancy things. But if you're flipping or prepping a rental on a budget, focus on the things that actually matter to tenants. And flipping is a little bit different. But I always say that we're flipping a property no matter what, renting or selling it, because we are flipping it. We're buying these properties. They don't look good when we buy them, right? So we have to flip them to get ready for selling or renting. So just don't stress about the things that you don't need to stress about. So that's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed this podcast and found it helpful, I'd love it if you'd take just a minute to rate and review the podcast, no matter where you're listening, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else. Your support truly helps us. It not only helps more people find the show, but it also lets me know what kind of content you're loving. And that's how I'm doing these podcast episodes, because I got feedback from, a certain episode or what have you, or questions about a certain episode. I love hearing from you. It truly does help me so much. So you can always email me, Lindsay@mycreativedays.com, or DM me on Instagram at My Creative Days. Let me know what you liked about the podcast. If there's something that you have a question about, if I talked about something on the podcast, send those in. I never share your name, but it just helps me to know what kind of content you're loving. So if you have a second, please tap the stars, leave a quick review, and know that I appreciate every single one. Thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you next time. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm grateful that you tune in every week and that you share the show with your family and friends. I love having creative chit chats with you, and my hope is that this podcast will inspire you to try a new project, start a DIY that you've been putting off, and decorate your home exactly how you want it. There are a few ways you can help us with the podcast. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you could take a few minutes to leave the podcast a review, that would help us so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to our chat next week. Bye-bye.